What? It's still not done. It's been 3 hours since my grandmother stopped by the bank to open an account. A sweet grandma. She's probably hesitating to speak up, seeing how busy the bank clerk is. I went to the counter in place of my grandmother. Excuse me.
Yes.
The bank clerk turned around with a smile, but his demeanor changed completely upon seeing me and my grandmother.
Oh, it's you guys. Persistent, aren't you? We put the pool last.
They snickered, mocking us. I sighed deeply, appalled. If that's the attitude of the bank staff, then so be it. Fine. I'll withdraw my balance of $29 million and close my account.
What?
He ended up in a world of hurt just because he underestimated us. My name is Ryan O'Connor.
Good morning, Ryan.
Morning, Grandma. I've moved for work, so now I'm staying at my grandparents' place. They're so kind and supportive of everything I do, which I truly appreciate. While brushing my teeth, I noticed some documents on the table. I reached for one of the documents. It was related to banking. What's this about, Grandma?
Oh, that. I was thinking of opening a new account.
I see, I said as I picked up a few other documents, but they all seemed sketchy or were for places far away. Concerned, I recommended a bank to my grandmother. How about the bank I've been using? It's safe, and they're always polite. I think it'll be fine. I looked up the bank's site on my smartphone and showed it to my grandmother.
If it's the place Ryan goes to, then I feel safe. I'll go there today.
Are you sure you don't want me to come with you, Grandma? I'm worried about you going alone.
No, it's fine. I don't want to trouble you.
She said, gathering her things and heading to the bank I recommended. Despite what my grandmother said, there was something that worried me. It was something about my grandmother that concerned me. The story goes back a few years. It was when I was out at work.
Hello, it's me.
Oh, Ryan, what's up?
Yo, it's me, Ryan. I accidentally bumped into an elderly person on the street and hurt him. Now they're asking me to cover the medical expenses.
How much do you need?
It seems to be about $10,000.
On her way to the bank, as instructed by someone claiming to be me, my grandmother apparently ran into my grandfather. And then, my grandfather, puzzled, reached out to me. Hey, Grandpa, what? That wasn't me. Yeah, say hi to Grandma for me. Thanks to my grandfather, we avoided falling victim to a scam, but I was really on edge at the time. That day, like any other, my grandma, bless her heart, was what you might call a good soul, a bit naive, and quick to trust folks, which had me pretty worried, I gotta say. I wonder if Grandma's really okay. Worried, I still headed off to work. Amidst my concerns, my grandmother had gone to the bank counter.
Welcome. My name is James. How can I help you today?
Well, I'd like to open a new account and deposit $100.
My grandmother apparently spoke to a bank clerk named James, who looked at her quizzically.
Excuse me.
Despite her attempts, she was ignored.
Yes. Oh, it's you again.
He just looked at her and snickered.
Well, want to open a bank account.
We put the pool last.
Grandma was brushed aside, treated dismissively by James with a go that way, off you go attitude. She tried to speak to James, the first clerk she approached, several times, but she was continually brushed off, and it seemed like the wealthier customers were always served first. She kept going to the counter over and over again, but it seemed like she was hardly acknowledged and ended up waiting for 3 hours.
That old lady is so persistent. Poor people should just go home.
James was visibly annoyed by her persistence.
Excuse me, is it still difficult?
Yes, it seems it will take some more time.
I see.
Being kind, my grandmother blamed herself, thinking perhaps she was at fault, and repeatedly approached the counter when it seemed less busy. I hoped Grandma would be okay. Worried about her during work, I decided to call home just in case. My grandfather answered the phone. When I asked, he said she hadn't returned yet. What? She's not back yet. Yay, okay. I'll check in later then. I left work early and headed to the bank where my grandmother was. I wonder if Grandma didn't know how to open an account, or something happened on her way back from the bank. I was walking, lost in thought about various things.
Welcome.
Hi,
I'm James. Nice to meet you. What brings you in today, sir?
Upon arriving at the bank, a male bank clerk approached me with a smile. Although he was smiling, his eyes weren't.
This customer looks wealthy. He's probably a high priority.
No, I don't have any business here. While I was half listening to the story of this guy named James, I was scanning the area, trying to spot my grandma. Oh, Grandma. I rushed over to her.
Ryan.
James clicked his tongue and sighed upon seeing my grandmother and me.
Don't act all high and mighty. You're just wearing an expensive suit, that's all.
He looked down on me too and walked away. What's with that bank clerk? Such a bad attitude. We sat down, bewildered by the rude treatment we'd received from James, the bank clerk. Grandma, you're late. What happened?
Well, I still haven't been able to open a bank account.
What? It's still not done.
I've told him multiple times, but he just won't listen. I think it's because I don't understand how it works.
Really? Can you tell me what happened? I found out that James, who was rude earlier, just wouldn't pay attention to her, and she ended up waiting for 3 hours. I couldn't understand why he wouldn't assist her with something as simple as opening an account. When I opened mine, everything went smoothly and the service was good. Maybe that person is no longer there. I looked around, but I couldn't see James anywhere.
Ryan, what's wrong?
Nothing, just wondering. I should have just come with you from the start. Muttering to myself, I approached the counter again. Excuse me.
Yes, it's you again. Persistent, aren't you? Poor folks should just sit over there.
James turned around and immediately changed his attitude upon seeing me. We'd like to open a bank account, please.
I've told her multiple times. We'll call you when we're ready. Please wait.
But my grandmother has been waiting all this time.
Well, it's a bank. Waiting is to be expected, cow.
He chuckled as if he was mocking me. No matter how many times I tried, he just wouldn't listen, and I was left feeling frustrated with the bank clerk. It seems talking to you is useless.
That's my line. We don't have time to attend to you exclusively.
Hearing his words, I sighed deeply. I see. Then, I'll withdraw my balance of $29 million and close my account.
What?
So, I said I want to withdraw my balance of $29 million and close my account. If you say you don't have time, then I won't take up any more of it. I don't want to inconvenience you. James looked at me, his eyes darting around.
That's just bluffing.
Shaking, he pointed at me, laughing. If you think I'm bluffing, feel free to check the account. As I handed over my bank book, he started to verify the account. The bank clerk looked at me with a mixture of astonishment and disbelief.
It's just a bluff, just some poor guy trying to look important.
After checking my account, he began to scream.
No way, this can't be. Absolutely not.
Startled by his shout, the people around were like, "What's going on?" Like a newborn deer, he trembled and made his way back to the counter.
Sorry for keeping you wait.
He placed the bank book down, still shaking. So, was it just my bluff? I leaned in to look at James's face, which was turned downwards.
No.
Sweat was dripping from his forehead, his voice cracking. Hearing the commotion, the branch manager, William, appeared from the back.
What's going on here? Oh, hi Ryan. Good afternoon. How are you?
Good, thank you, William.
Did James cause you any trouble?
William approached me in a flustered manner. I explained to William how James made my grandmother wait for 3 hours and how his attitude changed depending on whether he thought someone was wealthy. James looked pale, his head down and hands clenched tightly. Upon hearing the story, the branch manager, William, glared at the bank clerk.
What's the meaning of this? I don't recall instructing you to treat our customers in such a manner.
That was, well, not me.
Excuses are unnecessary. Step back. I'll be taking care of him.
James, who had been so assertive earlier, shrank down and grumbled as he trudged away.
I apologize for the unsightly behavior you had to witness.
No, William, it's not your fault. I've been indebted to you since before. This goes back several years. I was working as a regular company employee but wasn't feeling fulfilled. It was when I turned 27. I started to have subordinates and was told I was competent, which allowed me to climb up to the position of supervisor. The expectations from my company were a pressure for me. When I was thinking that I guess that's life, I heard a phrase on TV.
Your whole life is decided by 30.
That casual phrase struck a chord, and I started looking for what I really wanted to do, buying books and such. I hadn't wanted to be a company employee from the start. So, while I wasn't dissatisfied with my life, I felt a bit anxious. That's when I decided to quit my job and start my own business. The bank here, and specifically William, was who lent me the money at that time. I was clueless, but when I shared what I wanted to do, he willingly took it on. I went from bank to bank, but hardly anyone would give me the time of day until I finally came to this branch. William warmly welcomed me then.
I see. A business dealing in foreign products.
Yes, that's right. I was dripping a bit of sweat as I swallowed hard. I remember this moment well. I was extremely nervous. My breath almost caught. I watched William as he looked over the documents. I was prepared to be rejected again.
That looks great. International business.
Really?
It's inspiring to see someone chase their dreams. Makes me want to support them.
William's kind words are unforgettable. Knowing someone like him was at this branch made me trust it could support me. Thanks to this bank and William, I was able to start my international business and grow it to where it is today. Back to the present.
It's been about 3 years, hasn't it?
Yay, that's true. If you hadn't helped me out that day, I don't think I would have been able to achieve such success. My company imports products from several foreign companies and has grown in employees. And to say, without meaning any disrespect, I'm earning far more than James could imagine. Maybe it was all thanks to that phrase I heard on TV that day. I'll be heading home for today. I'll discuss the bank account matter more with my grandmother. With that, my grandmother and I returned home. The next day, a phone call came to our house. Okay, I'll get it. Grandma. Hello. Yes, wow. It was from William, the branch manager. He mentioned wanting to come over to apologize for yesterday's incident. Yes, understood. We're both here now. Thank you. I'll see you soon. And 15 minutes later, the doorbell rang. To make amends for yesterday, I thought the banker named James would be joining him. But when I opened the front door, only William, the branch manager, was standing there alone. Since he mentioned wanting to see my grandma too, I let him into the room before going to fetch her.
Sorry to keep you waiting. Would you like some coffee?
I'm sorry for any inconvenience.
So, what brings you here today? I started the conversation. Actually, William began to talk, and the atmosphere grew a bit tense, because he started to apologize to us very earnestly.
I am truly sorry for the trouble we caused.
He kept on apologizing repeatedly. William, please don't apologize. When I said that, he fell silent, looking apologetic. According to him, James, the bank employee who had served us before, was fired. Apparently, besides us, he was also putting off customers who looked poor. He was boosting his performance by catering only to wealthy-looking customers, but it seems like there have been numerous negative reviews and word of mouth circulating about him, especially after this incident and on social media. It seems like the issue had been brought up a few times during morning meetings and other discussions, but because the complaints were made anonymously, they couldn't determine who was at fault, and it looks like they couldn't take any action against him. During one of these times, William noticed the altercation between me and James and reported the issue to higher-ups. And as a result, James was fired yesterday for causing significant damage to the company.
On behalf of our bank, I would like to apologize to you, Ryan, for the inconvenience and discomfort we caused.
Then, my grandmother gently tapped William on the shoulder.
William, thank you for coming all this way. Actually, Ryan and I were talking yesterday, and we wondered if it would be possible to open a bank account with your branch.
My grandmother smiled kindly at William.
Ryan told me that he trusts your bank more. I understand that everyone has their circumstances, so I wouldn't mind about it.
Hearing my grandma's words, William seemed a bit tearful. Since I'll be there too, can I ask for the account opening process again?
Yes, of course. Thank you very much.
Afterward, I accompanied my grandmother, and we successfully opened a bank account. Despite everything, William's assistance made things right. Although there were some unpleasant feelings, I realized the importance of personal relationships. And now, I'm living the regular day-to-day with my grandparents. Grandma, Grandpa, have a great day.
Take care, dear.
Seeing my grandparents always smiling makes me happy. I've decided to not judge people by their wealth, but to build trustworthy relationships